This executive order was mean-spirited and un-American.
Tears and anger. American officials and the public vent their frustration over Donald Trump's immigration order. The U.S. president has also fired the acting attorney general for refusing to enforce the ban. We look at whether the U.S. public was so keen to defend Muslim rights when similar restrictions were imposed by the former leader Barack Obama. Also, billionaire investor George Soros faces a backlash in Europe over what politicians say are his attempts to influence politics on the continent. Russia's Paralympians could miss out on next year's Winter Games. That's as the blanket ban imposed for doping stays in place with qualifying already underway. And supporters of a Scottish football team hand over tens of thousands of pounds to Palestinian charities after a fundraiser to cover a fine for displaying Palestinian flags during a match exceeds all expectation. From Moscow to the world, this is RT International. My name's Ewan O'Neill. Good to have you with us. Our top story this hour. Police in the US have used tear gas to disperse protesters in Ohio as demonstrations against Donald Trump's immigration ban continue across the country. The order temporarily barring migrants from 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering America sparked mass outrage. Large crowds rallied in dozens of U.S. cities over the weekend. In a sign of more division in the U.S., Donald Trump has fired the country's acting attorney general after she refused to enforce the ban. The White House said she had betrayed the Justice Department. And as Murat Gazdiev now reports, some of the protesters' outrage seems misplaced.
This executive order was mean-spirited and un-American.
Isn't it great how so many Americans suddenly like Muslims? So spontaneous as well. Strange, though, how so many people started caring about Muslims all of a sudden. Can't say I remember anyone protesting earlier, like when half the U.S. state governors said that they didn't want Syrian refugees. Or when Barack Obama ordered tough new restrictions on travelers from the 7 Muslim countries all this fuss is about. Trump didn't pick them, Obama did. It's also strange how few of these people were concerned about Syrian refugees before now. Out of 11 million people that fled Syria, the U.S. took in less than 2,000 in half a decade. That's 0.01% of the total. Come to think of it, back in 2011, Obama halted all processing of asylum requests by Iraqi refugees for 6 months in the name of security, and no one seemed to mind. This might sound crazy, but it's almost as if the people protesting now don't really care about Muslims. It's almost as if they're just using Muslims as an excuse to protest against Trump.
Trump is a useful stick figure for them. It's worrying, and they shut down freeways sometimes and shut down streets. They'd love to shut down the airports. I think they're motivated by hate. Hysteria will get worse. And who knows what that results in? Does it result in riots? Does it result in a lot more violence? They feel that anybody who's against them is morally evil and you can do anything to them. So that's pretty much the view of the far left throughout history. Not good.
Okay, the travel restrictions notwithstanding, have you heard about how Trump is silencing everyone
This gag order for people who work at the EPA is also not a solitary case. This appears to be part of a broader gag order initiative that the new administration is pursuing with multiple federal agencies.
It's everywhere. The media says Trump is gagging agency after agency, preventing them from speaking out. Here's a little clarification. This is what the Environmental Protection Agency says.
A fresh look at public affairs and communications processes is common practice for any new administration, and a short pause in activities allows for this assessment.
This is what has happened at the transition of every administration. It's just a pause.
A pause so that the new administration can get its bearings. False alarm, right?
The fact that the media are so openly one-sided has hurt them and I would say helped Trump. They are purveyors of fake news. The old media are in fact worried about their futures. They see their ratings, TV ratings going on, their circulation of their publications going down. My guess is they know they're through.
All right, excuses, excuses. Have you read the Washington Post? Apparently, the entire State Department administrative team has resigned under Trump. All of them, according to the headline. Journalists, as always, rightfully outraged. And these are the more civil tweets. In fact, someone came up with a chart showing all the State Department bosses, and they even highlighted the entire administrative team that left. Yeah. That's it. All four of those. Not really the entire administrative team. Not even really a third of it. And it's actually pretty normal for this to happen when the president changes. But hey, it's your own fault. You were reading the Washington Post, right?
Not one network person has been let go. Not one silly political analyst and pundit who talked smack all day long about Donald Trump has been let go. They're on panels every Sunday. They're on cable news every day.
Well, what can you say? If it's getting clicks and keeping the bosses happy, why not? Ethics? Pfft. Welcome to 2017. It's the post-truth age.